course, the arms are too thick, so we must bring all that stuff down. And let me cut some more, bringing out the bring out the arms as we are. As you can see, as you start off with a much larger piece than what you normally would have, so that you can provide for the areas that you want. And let's continue to bring down the head here. As you bring down the body, you also bring down the head, and see? As you bring down both, it helps you kind of get a general idea of what you want and what you need. I'll start taking off a lot more as we come up to here. Okay. A lot more back here, because actually the dress flows down. It's just a very plain dress. It's nothing fancy, and it flows down. Of course, an immigrant woman would not have a fancy dress on. She would not, unless she's from the high society, and she's not. And let's bring these shoes down some more. Try to come from the outside so that you can bring it down. And we'll get them situated. On the inside, so let's look at her for a minute. For a minute as we observe our place here. And let's go ahead and get our head rounded off. And it will flip. This shawl will sort of flip like this back here, where it looks like it comes to a point. The immigrants wore a lot of, as we say, shawls. Usually in the areas that were cold. And so you see what we have here. We'll take some more of this off in here. Sticking out a little bit too much. Like I said, that's why I make it always a little bit bigger, to give you the big deal. Now we don't want too big of arms. You know, she's a woman. And even though I'm sure an immigrant woman back then probably was pretty strong, we don't want too big of arms. You know, we don't want a wrestler. She's still a woman. And if you get offended by me saying that, well, you know, I don't mean, well, I'm sorry, but I mean, she's a woman, and most women don't have big shoulders or things like that. Now, not all of them, but I'm just saying most of them don't in that sense. Okay. But okay, now if her shoulders are way too big, that's all right. We can cut them down, okay? Now let's go ahead. Let me get my pencil here. And go ahead and mark where our hands are going to be. I finally bought me an electric pencil sharpener that I absolutely love. I'm going to just make our hand here. I absolutely love because I had all that stuff and I lost it all, like I said, in Harvey. And this was so simple at that time. We're going to cut a hand here, and we're just going to come down with it. Because we're gonna make a bucket, and she'll be holding a bucket in this hand right here that I'm carving on. And let's go over here, and let's draw a hand here, and let's do the same thing. This hand will just be by the side, basically. Okay. Now I'm going to flip this dress a little bit like this, in other words, where it kind of comes down. We want to come a little bit. We want it to come down, but we don't want it to be too overflowing in that sense. And let's, of course, bring those shoes down some more so that we'll have plenty of room to come down with the dress. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. So, all right, we're starting to get a good thing of this now. See, while we're bringing the shoes down, because we are bringing the dress down where we want to have a hem underneath here. Some room, and the shoes will be like this. And underneath here, underneath here. So as we can see, the shoes and the dress are starting to look. Now she's really starting to take shape now. Provide a little bit more for the hands. a little bit. People say, how do you know when it's ready, or how do you know when it's finished? I guess I've been carving so long, I just know. I know when it's ready. I know when it's finished. And you look at your dimensions. I don't mean they have to be perfect, because I don't want them to be necessarily perfect in a caricature or with that, but you just know, you can see it. If you carve long enough, you will see this happening. You'll see that that is what you want. I've done a lot of projects for beginners, but I also spend a lot of time for people that have carved. I know a lot of people say, why don't you show every cut? Well, I just can't. Doug shows every cut, which is real good for beginners and for other things like that, but even if I showed you every cut, it wouldn't be something you could necessarily follow, as I'm a flat plane carver, and I just see what but I have beginners projects. I have a lot of them. I was informed the other day that we're up to, I think, 2,176 videos over the years. It's a lot of videos. I didn't quite realize how many had been done, but I've been doing this a long time too, so. Okay, now, and we just want to, now this particular hand that we have here is just going to go down like this, okay? It's just going to be by her side like that. So it's not going to have anything. We have a rooster down the street this lady has, and that rooster just all night long. So you might hear it while we're talking here. Okay, there we go. We're getting there. All right, let's go ahead and go to the face. Now, as I've told you, there is going to be the shawl actually comes to a point where it goes over the lady's face. So we're gonna take this, and if we need to go back further on the shawl, we will. And we're gonna come down like that, and then we're gonna bring the face in by this way. There won't be any hair. Her face will just be coming out of the shawl like this. Okay. And the shawl will come back like this. See? And we just sort of get that. Now my faces are always a little bit bigger than what they should be most of the time. because I think the face is the main object of now the old immigrant woman. She's not a what you would call a beauty, so of course you know we are not going to make her so. Most of them were not. Most of them were working women who okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come here and we're going to go ahead and put the nose in here. We're just going to kind of do this. And we're just going to kind of do this, but we're going to cut that nose down a little bit. Most women don't have extremely large noses. Now, I'm not saying all women, but I'm saying most women just basically have, you know, but you know, an immigrant woman is not a delicate woman. She's a woman who has to work hard, so she is definitely not going to be a beauty queen, as we say. So we're going to, okay, see, just sort of a nose like that. A little ways, and we're going to bring that up a little bit. And we're just going to cut a very light thing there for the woman, and we'll cut some of this off. See that? Just sort of a very light the woman, and we'll cut her cheeks down just a little bit. And we're just going to run her mouth across here, just sort of like that. In other words, she's not going to be a, like I said, this is not a, beauty queen here. We have a train that is near my mother's house, and you can hear this train 3 times a day, and it's loud. That's what you're hearing in the background. And let's just cut just a little jaw in here. Just a little jaw in there. Like I said, we're not talking about a beauty here. We're just talking about and we're going to take some of this off right here. Bring that lip down just a little bit. As you can see, I use the tip of my knife. Whoops, there goes my pencil. I use the tip of my knife to do this, the flat plane style. And take this out in here. And come with the eye like this, and like this, and come down and just take off in there. There, just like that. Where it doesn't even, I'm not even going to put eyeballs in her in such a way. Okay, now we take the shawl and we get it very close to the head, just like that, in other words. And we sort of flip that knife on that shawl like this. It kind of gives it a folding look just a little bit. Because it just sort of and we're not going to do any fancy cut that a little bit deeper in there. There we go.